It's been a long, rough road, but we're here. This is our final performance of Wind in the Willows. This is a play about life. What is the line from the show? I can't think of it right now. That's not a show. Things disappear in a career. No, that's not it. There's a line at the end of the show. Life is a long car trip. That's the allegory here. We have some good company on this car trip. We have the music of Chris Glik did the arrangements for this show. We have a wonderful cast. We have Toni Trenton and Chatterton and Julia Stoddard playing the passengers in the car. We have Mr. David Michael Trevino playing the driver of the car. And we have Mark Leland playing the man who stops the car before they get this rig back into New York. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy the show. We worked very hard on this piece. I've been giving them notes right up until curtain. But I think they're ready to give you their best work, and they've certainly given me their best work all along. I'm very proud of this cast. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Wind in the Willows, better known as I Left My Riding Boots in Glendale.
Jenkins, if Mrs. Wilmer is not waiting at the curb when we get there, I want you to stop in front of her building and ring the doorman, her apartment, and the doorman. Damn it, need a latte. She's always late. I've never known her to be on time.
Yes, ma'am.
And if she happens to be ready when we arrive, try and leave a little space between the sidewalk and the car. She needs to board at street level. She can't bend down from the walkway anymore to climb into the back seat. None of us can.
Certainly, madam. Oh, and once again, may I take this opportunity to express my sincere condolences on your grievous loss.
That's all right. It can't be helped. We'll just have to get through this as best as possible. But thank you. And watch how you turn those corners. I don't want to spill any ashes. Oh. Well, where is she? Oh, well, look at that. There she is on time for once in her vain, useless life.
Oh, Dottie, I couldn't find an urn, so I thought that this old coffee can might do. Well, you know how he loved his cappuccinos.
A coffee can?
Well, at least it's ceramic with a pressurized top. And how are you, dear?
Bereaved.
Yes, I know. It's been a horrible nightmare. I keep staring at poor Wendell's slippers, knowing that he'll never ask for them again. What is that?
Oh,
Onyx?
no, it's only a piece of polished slate. My diamond-encrusted onyx went 6 weeks ago to pay American Express.
Oh dear, yours or his?
Whose do you think? I know how to live within my means. Jenkins, you do know where Mrs. Jaminson's house is, don't you? Drive to 67th between Madison and 5th.
Certainly, madam. Yes, we've been there several times.
Yes. Well, don't go getting us lost in all this traffic. The street runs east to west, you know.
Yes, madam. I'm turning onto it now.
Oh, poor Andrea. She was so devoted to Victor. I mean, it must be unbearable for her.
Oh, I think she'll be all right. After all, she's plenty strong.
Yeah.
Oh. Miriam, Dottie, how good to see you. You know, I couldn't have done this without you.
That's why we're here, dear. To share in our grief.
Oh,
Friends.
Friends forever.
yes, my dear friends. To think that we should be joined as widows in the face of such unspeakable tragedy. I just can't believe it when I think of poor Victor going down on that plane with the other boys. What could he have been thinking? The terror.
I'm sure they were well fortified.
Whatever are you alluding to?
The toxicology report. Haven't you read it?
You don't mean to suggest.
Uh-huh. Schnockered.
Oh, not my poor Wendell.
Especially Wendell.
And not your poor Edward.
Oh, Miriam. Really? When were you born?
When did Prohibition come in? I don't know.
Ladies, please, our husbands are dead. Nothing can bring them back. Stop this quibbling. What difference does it make?
No, this is Wendell's. It was important to me that Wendell didn't drink on account of his condition. And when I think of him up there in the air, being seduced by those charlatans.
Oh, those charlatans happen to have given him a job.
He didn't need work. We didn't need the money.
Oh, Miriam, come on. Just your storage bills alone.
My storage bills? Since when have my storage bills been any concern of yours?
Girls, why are we here? I thought we were going to New Jersey.
Yes. And don't try and take the Lincoln Tunnel, Jenkins, and all this midday traffic. Drive down to Canal Street.
Yes, madam.
Where do you get that urn?
Oh, at the florist shop. Do you like it?
Kitsch.
How's it look to you?
Well, it's a sort of a nondescript glazed cloud crop with a smart matching lid.
I thought you'd like it. Nothing but the best for Victor. Only the best, something that will stand the test of time, like our love for each other.
I'm so happy for you. At least you had some consolation in your grief. Whereas Wendell and I, well, I didn't tell you before the accident. But Wendell and I were on brink of divorce.
You don't say.
I thought you were so happy.
Well, we were happy. Well, at least Wendell was. But as for me, it just wasn't working.
What do you mean?
Well, must I spell it out for you? Let's talk about something more pleasant. Like Wildwood. Anybody been there?
Tanglewood, yes, but Wildwood, no. Never.
Neither have I, really.
Well, it's a quaint parcel of resort towns, fields and marshes. I can't think of a lovelier place for a plane to go down.
Oh, Miriam, please, my poor darling, Victor.
Well, really, she's right, Andrea. Better to have had the plane, dear Lord, better to have crashed in a field up against some field than some mountainside. They'd never been able to recover the bodies.
Oh, Dottie, stop it. You know how I felt about Victor, and here you are making light of it. He was my rock.
Oh.
Oh, well, if Victor was your rock, Wendell was definitely my Hudson.
I don't get it.
Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter now.
Just because you two were unhappy in your marriages does not mean that I should have to sit here and endure this affront to my late husband's memory.
What makes you think we were unhappy? We went to the fanciest parties, ate the finest food, wore the best gowns, sported the costliest jewelry. So we had to put up with a couple of old goats every once in a while. What makes you think we were unhappy?
Oh, please, all you ever did was complain. He never comes home, you'd say. Well, of course he was never at home. He was always out working, making more money for you.
If he wasn't gambling it away.
A gentleman's sport.
Oh, Andrea, he was no gentleman, if you only knew.
All right, so they were hard-headed businessmen. Corporate executives. What did you expect? Schoolboys? This is the real world and not some little parable made up for children. And I'm telling you that ours was a true love, a well-seasoned bond between mature human beings. Oh, look at that coastline. Oh, all this talk makes me feel lightheaded. I think I'll crack open the window. Oh, let me get a bit of air.
I wish that I could breathe some air, Andrea. But oxygen is rather scarce up in the penthouse these days, when there's nothing left in reserve. Life at the top holds a terrible drop when your assets have been frozen. Life on the stair leaves no time to prepare for the next step to be chosen. Everyone talks of the current recession, closing their eyes to the deepening depression. I need a break today. Can Providence point the way? Where does one go from here? When does that prince appear? Carting your goods out of the woods onto a path that's clear. How does one rise from this state of unwedded bliss? Pressing your luck for a quick buck onto Dame Fortune's list. So
Where do you go with nothing to show for all that you meant while you're here?
How does one fly from here, late in a long career, turning a page onto an age when certain regrets appear? How does one stem the tide, but with a wounded pride, ranking one's worth less here on earth than on the other side?
gone by. Lies became romance. Everyone takes a chance, casting their dice onto thin ice, dancing the merry dance. What's up the road ahead when there are fears to dread, pulling you back onto a track you should have crossed instead? So where do you go and how do you know that everything starts again here? So where do you go and how could you know that everything starts again here?
So where do you go? And who's to bestow the love that life's lacking this year?
What are you talking about? What's this about the business? You know that each of us was fully vested. Why, the corporation
Oh,
was
the corporation. You silly fool. The corporation was about to go bankrupt. Didn't you know?
What?
The shareholders filed suit. Don't you know what the term class action means?
No, why should I?
Precisely my point.
I know Wendell told me everything. I know all about it.
Then I hope you have plenty of money stashed away in your respective households. No deeds of trust against the property, tax liens, that sort of thing. Have you checked with the county recorder's office lately? You'd be surprised what a husband is capable of doing behind one's back.
Well, I will continue to love Victor even if I find we have nothing.
Oh, nice words, Andrea. I don't suppose you've had those diamonds appraised recently.
These, they were my mother's. Victor had them reset for me. Aren't they beautiful?
Classic.
Why? What, do you think you've discovered something? They're nothing new. You've seen them 100 times. Besides, you have your own jewels.
Have I?
Now, ladies, please. Here we are quarreling about some useless baubles when we're missing this splendid countryside view. Oh, look at those rustic little huts. Do you think that people really live that way anymore?
Not only do they live, but they die in those dumpy little shacks.
Oh, nonsense. Nobody stays in one place anymore. I remember when I was growing up as a wee lass in Birmingham, we would never think of crossing the Atlantic. But nowadays...
And when I first arrived in New York from Buenos Aires, I was so young and full of life that Mr. Jameson fell immediately in love and begged me to stay with him here in America.
You needed a green card and you know it.
That's not true. You take that back.
I won't.
Take it back.
No.
You take it back this instant or I'll tell her everything I know about
You-
the aircraft.
Oh, you wouldn't.
What is this about an aeroplane?
Oh.
What is she saying?
Nothing, Miriam, nothing. It was a simple case of mechanical failure, as the investigators reported. Don't trouble yourself any further, dear. It can't bring them back.
But when I think of my poor Wendell...
Yes, I know. And Edward, too.
Stop it. Both of you. What did you care for your husbands? Look at you. Oh, holding a coffee can in your arms. And you, only pretending to be humbled by grief. Those poor men, all the years they toiled for you. And what did you care for them?
Well, certainly not like you cared for Victor.
I loved him. We never tired of each other. We were two old horses pulling the same load. What keeps a marriage alive? Passion? Certainly after the fire of being together dies down, one should at least be friends. And we were such friends. We were dedicated to one another. Oh, how I miss him, now more than ever. Oh, stuffy in here. Where are you taking me? It seems like we've been driving for hours. The compartment is so confining. Couldn't we do something to pass the time?
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe sing a song together like people do in automobiles.
I don't know any more songs.
Well, then we can make one up. Go ahead, Dottie.
Oh,
Start.
all right. Sisters in grief are we,
Seeking relief are we.
Sisters should always be friends.
Bum bum bum.
no matter where we go,
Keeping our friends in tow.
We'll stand upright till the end.
Ba-da-da-da.
When a girl loves her sister,
no other person will do.
You can count on it, mister.
One slight mistake and you're through. Sisters in grief, are we seeking relief? Are we sisters should always be friends?
Bum bum bum.
No matter where we go, keeping our friends in tow, we'll stand upright till the end.
Ba-da-da-da.
you can count on a sister.
To pick you up when you're blue.
You may be hit by a twister.
But a girlfriend will come through. Sisters in grief, are we seeking relief? Are we sisters should always be friends?
Bum bum bum.
No matter where we go, keeping our friends in tow, we'll stand upright till the end.
That was lovely. I feel better already. But this turnpike is growing monotonous. How long before we make wormwood?
Wildwood.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Wildwood.
No, I don't know. It can't be much more. Jenkins, have you checked and have you seen any idea of how far we've gone today?
The odometer says we've gone 80 miles, madam.
Oh, did you see that? The truck almost crossed in front of us.
Oh, we might have been killed.
Oh,
Quick thinking, Jenkins, but keep your eyes on the road.
I'm trying, madam.
Yes, Jenkins, nice going. And remember, there are a lot of bad drivers out there.
well, you ought to know.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
All right, girls, now stop it. We've had a close call, but relax, we'll make it.
Oh,
By the way, did either of you happen to see this article entitled, in Vanity Fair of course, entitled, "The Oldest Living Dowager"?
It isn't.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
someone we know. Oh, but she never admits to being older than 55. Uh-huh.
Oh, Jenkins, we may be preoccupied for a time. Try and steer clear of any more trouble and watch where you're going.
Yes, ma'am.
Look to the highway, eyes straight ahead. Study the traffic, lest we be dead. But in the mirror, everything trails behind. Being a driver is purely a state of mind. Get the big picture, look to the left. Checking your blind spot, who's coming next. But in the mirror, most sublime. Being a driver is purely a state of mind. Three aging faces all in a row, I've taken them places they've had to go, given my life to keeping their dreams alive. Being a driver is purely a state of mind. But why are we moving, and how will we know that the reason we're going is always before us? It's something we've longed for, something we may never find. For who is the driver, and who has been driven to be a survivor who's still with his hidden? And how can we know that? How can we keep that alive? Being a driver is purely a state of mind. Reaching the safety of somebody's care, traveling daily to here and there. How can we know we're part of some great design? And who is the driver, and who has been driven from dearly departed we haven't forgiven? And what are we here for? Why do we all stay alive? When being a driver is purely a state of mind.
Well, she's
Miriam.
never looked better, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Miriam, will you stop chewing on those pearls? You're driving me crazy.
What?
You heard me. Please take them out of your mouth. It's most unladylike.
Oh, very well, since it upsets you.
Yes, it does.
It's just a nervous habit I have. Wendell would chide me for putting things in my mouth, like hairpins and paper clips and chewing gum. Now he'll never have to scold me again. But you know, that's just how he was. Basically, a reformist. What was Edward like when you first met him?
He was a salesman at the shoe department at B. Altman's. On his way up, his father had been a salesman before him, and it wasn't very long until Edward started into stocks and securities. Salespeople, you know, it's in the blood. I got such a thrill that first day when he pumped my, well, let me say it this way. I got a real thrill. Okay, forgive me. I got a thrill when he pinched my big toe in a pair of heels. Little did I know what a pump pincher he'd turn out to be.
How romantic. Did you buy anything?
His whole line, hook and sinker.
How sweet.
I should have clubbed him with my heel. Yes, it's hard to believe. Seems like ages ago. I was young and naive, with a long way to go. That man, I had only come for nothing. There was nothing I Years would pass and I would see him, always waiting by my door. When at last I would receive him, it had been worth waiting for. That man, wonder if I ever knew him. Quiet time was best of all, just to have a love so human, kept me at his beck and call. That man, who would think that time could change us, separate pathways cross collide. Our careers would soon estrange us, drawing him far from my side. That man, now he watches from a distance, back to where we once began. I'm alone at my insistence, wondering just who I am without that man, without that man, without that
Oh, look. Is that the cemetery?
Is this Seashore Road? Yes, that's it. Jenkins, please talk to the man at the gate, and don't let him see us like this. We're nothing to gawk at anymore.
Speak for yourself.
Yes. What a lovely place a graveyard is. So blissfully quiet and so perfectly serene.
Oh, God, that woman could talk.
What was that, dear?
I said I think I'll get out and walk.
Yes,
What'd he say?
It's just a stone's throw up the road. There's an open obelisk with 3 markers below. You may place the urns in the obelisk and they'll seal it up after our ceremony today.
Carry on, Jenkins. Now, girls, we're going to have a drive-by funeral. Jenkins will lift each of our urns and deposit them into the obelisk. We needn't even get out of the car. Anyway, it looks like it's been raining. Afterwards, we'll drive down to the crash site and scatter more ashes where our beloved boys went down. For that purpose, I've come equipped with 3 shovels and matching envelopes. Excuse me, that's not yours. This one is yours. Into which you may place dust particles sufficient to cover the crash site. Now, girls, you're ready? Now dig.
Oh, but Dottie, you think of everything.
Really, Miriam? We're hardly panning for gold here. Dig!
But Dottie, this is so dramatic. It's all I've got left of Paul Wendell.
Oh, now,
His
Miriam.
beautiful physique reduced to rubble.
Oh, you know as well as I do that the body is merely a soul.
Well, yes, but some come in prettier packaging than others.
How I wish I could get out of the car.
Is that the monument? Oh, what for? Nobody's there. It's an empty tomb.
The lawn's recently been watered, madam. You'll get your feet all wet.
Oh, please, I'm in an old pair of Ferragamos.
First pair ever made.
Ugh. Stay in the car, Miriam. I don't want mud in my limousine, and I can't afford to run it through the cleaners.
Oh, no. You can afford a granite obelisk in Cape May, New Jersey, but you can't afford to pay for a car wash in New York?
Edward's marker cleaned me out. I'm telling you, there's nothing left.
Well, oh, don't plead poverty with me, Dorothea Van Horn.
Be quiet, both of you. Can't you see how moved, I am deeply. This is my farewell to Victor.
Oh, Victor, 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 will we never hear the end of your precious Victor? Like my grief is any more bearable. Victor indeed, he is an old fraud, and yes he was. He was an old fraud with an expense account, and he never paid taxes.
Yes. And it's very insensitive of you to say so at this time.
Insensitive. All you ever care about are your own feelings. You never care about us. You never think about us.
You people don't matter. Victor was a god.
A god? Ha! Oh, Andrea, wake up! Shut up!
Oh, now you've spilled the ashes. You old bellows sure can blow, but none of you ever learned how to vacuum. Get out while you can, and go fall in the mud.
Oh, I'll place my own urn.
And I place mine.
Thank you, madam. May I place Mr. Van Horn's ashes in the obelisk for you, madam?
Yes. Jenkins, before you do, would you mind actually pulling alongside my late husband's marker? I'd like to pay my respects.
Is that close enough?
That's fine.
The ashes.
Here.
What are you doing? That's disrespect. You'll burn in hell. Oh!
Oh, there ain't no hell for a woman torn between wishing that her husband had never been born, while she waits for Gabriel to blow his horn, and the Lord to help her. Oh, there ain't no harm in an old soft shoe for a husband who has left his wife without a sou. As the time draws near for her big review, and he looks for shelter, men grow restless as the years subside. Wives get smarter with each passing time, and we all get taken for a great big ride. Yes, it helps to have a nickel or two. Yes, it helps to have a nickel or two.
Oh,
Dottie. Oh. You dishonor the dead. Aren't you ashamed?
Oh, thank you. Here's your mat.
Oh,
Wipe your feet. And you too, Miss Rambova. Oh, God.
Oh, Dottie, how could you? Regardless of how you felt about poor Victor, he was your husband, you know. Doesn't his memory deserve anything from you?
Oh, yes, it does. It means betrayal, plunder, greed, corruption. Need I go on?
No, I think that just about says it.
oh. Dottie, Dottie, Dottie.
Drive on, Jenkins.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, as terrible as Edward was, after the way he cheated me, I can't help but feel a certain sadness for him. Odd.
Oh, cheated you, Edward? How did he cheat you?
Oh, come now.
Were there other women?
No, I don't think so.
Did he mortgage the penthouse?
No,
Did he ever lie to you about his age?
certainly not.
Wear lifts in his shoes?
Oh, no.
Well then, how did he cheat you?
You ought to know.
Oh, that?
Yes, that.
Oh, that? What is that?
Oh, Miriam, never mind.
All right, dear. Okay.
Are we anywhere near the field in Port Norris, Jenkins?
We're getting closer, madam. Another mile or two.
Well, speed it up a bit, if you would please. It's getting late. I'd like to get this ordeal over with.
I'm afraid we're running low on fuel, ma'am. I only hope we'll make it to the next town.
I thought we filled up in New York.
Oh, not exactly. If you recall, there was scarcely $20 left on the card.
Oh, yes. Another one of Edward's accounts. Well, speed it up anyway. It's getting late.
We don't have gas?
Now what?
I'm afraid we've run out of gas, ma'am.
What? You're kidding me. Next to this inlet of water? This is not where the boys went down.
It's in the general vicinity, madam.
No, I'll die in this wasteland!
Oh, you're a big help. Grab the canister out of the trunk, Jenkins, and run up the road with it. There's bound to be something there. Andrea, have you got $5?
You know I never carry cash with all this thievery afoot. What? These days?
Yeah. Miriam, can you help?
Well, I've just returned from the continent, and I only have francs.
It's okay, madam. I'll cover it myself.
I hate to say it, but this is as close to the crash side as we might get.
No, I couldn't possibly spread my late husband's ashes over a swamp.
Nor could I. Why did you bring us here? A quiet service at St. Patrick's would have been perfectly acceptable. But no, you had to drag us all the way to New Jersey.
You're broke, aren't you?
What?
Oh, come now, let's not pretend. And anyone who had just come from Europe, and France, goddamn. Anyone who had just come from Europe, thank you, dear, would know that they don't deal with francs anymore. They've been replaced by euros.
I beg your pardon.
Come on, girls. Let's face it. We're stuck. We've each been swindled, and things couldn't be any worse than they are right now.
Nonsense! You don't say it!
And those gems you have on aren't even real. They're fakes.
Liar!
How unkind!
And those pearls you've been nibbling on aren't even yours.
Oh, slanderer.
Your husbands were con men, darlings, just like mine. All those times Victor purported to have your jewels reset. Well, they're paste copies,
No.
dear. He confided as much to me and the others at a drunken card game, where Edward pledged my pearls after emptying the vault to buy that rickety old jet.
Santa Maria!
Son of a salesman!
Oh. Would you mind rolling up your window?
Oh, all right, but the air is so heavy in here, I hardly understand why.
Why? Because a ragweed was in Jersey for ladies in distress. 3 damsels topsy-turvy whose lives are in a mess.
Don't compare yours to mine, I am from the Argentine.
Pardon me if I bore you, but may I implore you, ladies, please don't sneeze. You'll bring us to our knees.
A
ragweed rose in Jersey to drift along the shore like blackmail to a turkey. One drop could lead to more. 'Cause a ragweed rose in Jersey for you.
I wonder what could be taking Jenkins so long. He's been gone nearly half an hour.
Well, perhaps it's a bit further from what he really anticipated to the next town, but don't worry, he'll be back, and I'm sure he wants to get back to New York just as much as we do.
But we're out in the middle of nowhere. Anything could happen.
I wish something would happen. It's becoming a bit of a bore.
Now, while we are completely alone, tell me, Andrea, did you know that these pearls rightfully belong to Dottie? Is that what you were hinting about earlier today?
I'm afraid so, Miriam. You see, I hosted the card game in question, but they weren't all drunk as Dottie suggested. At least Victor was not. I was in the next room having one of my gowns fitted by Pierre and overheard everything they were saying that night. Now, I cannot speak for the others, but I'm telling you that Victor was not drunk. He may have taken 1 or 2 Valiums to calm himself. But then that is how he normally escaped from the rigors of his profession, his job, you know.
Oh, please.
There you go again, contradicting everything I say. She does this to me all the time. I find it so annoying.
Oh, come now, Andrea. You know as well as we all do, you often get the time, place, and person completely mixed up, and you know it.
You're wrong. And I'm telling you that Victor was not a drunkard. I personally attended many meetings with him on the Upper East Side. And at one of them, I even saw that actress who was always in the tabloids. You know, that little what's her name? You know, the blonde.
Andrea, those meetings are supposed to be anonymous.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I take that back. She's not a natural blonde. Anyway, but as I was saying, Victor was completely sober that evening. And perhaps that is why he kept beating the others at cards.
And the pearls?
Yes. I heard Edward pledge Dottie's pearl necklace and said nothing. But I did not imagine it would turn out to be the same necklace given to Miriam. And that Dottie's other jewels would also be taken in the bargain. I knew that the boys needed money to buy an airplane, but I never dreamed.
You're such a friend, Andrea. All it would have taken is one phone call. I didn't even know about the theft until the next morning, when I went to our safe deposit box and made the shocking discovery in person.
And Edward never mentioned it to you?
Oh, he left me an IOU, if you will, a piece of paper inscribed, if that's what you'd like to call it.
How terrible. Oh.
It's not nearly as bad as what Victor did to her, removing her stones from her jewelry collection, purporting to have them reset.
It is the first I have heard of this deception, and I don't know what she is talking about. Victor would never do such a thing to me. Where did you get that silly idea?
Oh, come now, Andrea. It's the oldest trick in the book. Edward came home to me that night laughing about it. I even heard him murmuring about it in his sleep. It was a big prank between him and the other boys.
You're lying. I was there that night serving Mai Tais between hands. I mean Mai Tais and herb tea, of course. And I heard every word that was spoken.
And you never left the room?
Only for a few minutes to walk Pierre to a taxi. But certainly not long enough for Victor to divulge such an elaborate undertaking.
You don't believe me? And you still think that those diamonds you have on are real? Let me see that ring. Let me see that. Look at this. Try carving the window with this. Go ahead, I dare you. It's tempered glass.
Madre mia!
There, you see?
No!
Didn't I tell you?
No, there must be some mistake.
maintain our illusions.
But I simply can't believe it. It's too diabolical. Look at this stone. Does this look like a cubic zirconium to you?
Well, I'm afraid it does look a little cloudy.
Face it, Andrea. You've been ripped off. Big time.
But it can't be. I am not Zsa Gabor in some elevator at the plaza. I'm Mrs. Victor Jameson in the backseat of Dorothea Van Horn's elegant town car. I can't believe it. This is unthinkable. Don't they have a ladies' room out here? Oh my God! There's a mosquito! Ay, de mia! It's flying into the car! Oh, no! Don't kill it! It might be Victor's reincarnated ghost.
Oh, too high of a calling, I'm afraid, and I don't want to be stung again. Shoot! Shoot!
Oh. Oh.
Oh, there it's gone.
Hand me those ashes, would you please? Oh. I swore that the swamp was not good enough. But under the present conditions, I'm afraid it will have to do. Away, away, away from me. Never again of this world to be. And as darkness descends all around you, I shall think of the form which is bound to reappear. Were you near and not far away from me? No more, no more, no more to know how it felt, what it meant for our love to know. And as time disappears beyond you, I'll remember the things that I love you all my life as your wife, never far away
Wendell, although you held my heart, somehow sadly we drifted apart. Had I known you were prone to stray for another, I'd have gladly gone away with your unwed, your dashing younger brother. And not stay from the start till you dropped off the chart to be far away from me. Your bad checks, for there's bound to disappear once I'm near while you stay away from me. We'll be and don't so far away from me.
Farewell, my sweet angel. Oh, how I loved you.
Darling Wendell, you know it was fun while it lasted, and it was good. Who would have known it would end up this way?
I'm too tired to get up. Would you mind dumping this worthless paycheck for me, please?
Goodbye, Edward. Perhaps you and Wendell can now be together. Are there any, crocodiles in these parts?
No.
Pity.
You too are faithless not to cherish your late husband's memory. If only he were standing here beside me, no matter what he had done, I would open the door and beg Victor to come in once more.
What?
In an instant, you see, that's how we differ. I can forgive my husband. I can forgive him for anything. What is love but a series of partings and reconciliations? It goes without saying, I am not bitter. I have his memory to keep me alive. Whereas you two have nothing, only loneliness.
Will you be all right?
I'll be all right.
Well, I'm glad he's gone.
Yes, I know. But between now and the time when we return to New York, would you do me a small favor and kindly refrain from speaking ill of the dead? Could you at least do that much for me?
Wait a minute. Edward took over $1 million worth of jewelry out of my safe deposit box and left a worthless IOU. Victor replaced all of your stones with paste copies. And her husband, well, what exactly did he do?
What did he do? It's what he didn't do.
Oh, there, you see? Want of affection. And you keep quiet, and you expect us to keep quiet about it too.
That is our burden as wives to bear.
Oh, Whistler's mother, come down off your rocking horse. And while we're at it, Mrs. Von Bulow, may I please have my pearls back?
No, of course, I couldn't possibly wear them now, in all good conscience. But are you absolutely sure they're yours?
They're mine. I'd recognize them anywhere. We got them on a business trip in Hong Kong. They have an unusual double-sided clasp.
Well, all right, just give me a moment.
Here, let me help you.
Oh, I didn't ask for your help. For fucking stop! I say you're messing up my hair!
What hair?
Well, I heard that!
Hold it, I almost got it.
Oh!
Still.
Don't snag my bodice! Let go! Ah! Oh! Oh! Bitch!
Partisan!
Oh! Panderer!
Tip!
Oh! Strap it!
Bitch!
Oh! Oh!
Mrs. Van Horn, may I have a word with you? In private, outside of the car.
I'll move out of the way.
What is it?
You're behaving very badly today, and if you're quite through, I'd like to add this fuel to the tank and start back to New York.
The audacity you have to speak to me this way. Why, if my husband were alive, he'd take you to task.
But he's not alive. And during the ride home, I should like to hear no more bad-mouthing of his name.
What?
You may find this hard to believe, but despite his shortcomings, your husband happened to have been very much in love with you, right up until the time of his death.
Rubbish.
You may believe what you wish, but he instructed me that if anything should ever happen to him, I was to look after you in your old age.
Oh, preposterous.
I quite agree, but those were his words, madam.
Oh, you're such a jerk. When we get back to New York, you're going to be so fired.
Oh, really? And who's to keep your secrets from being bandied about town, hmm? Now, be a dear little woman, hop back in the car while I insert some of the siphoned gas.
Oh, the audacity.
You left the door slightly ajar there, you and the chauffeur. Well, la-di-da.
I'll dissolve those rocks you're wearing.
And he's not bad looking either.
In acid.
A bit young for her.
Laced in henbane.
Maybe he's right though, dear. Edward wasn't all that bad, and he certainly deserves a little respect.
Traitor, you're hopeless. Ah, why, it's not even worth wasting a bunch of pearls over.
Oh, very well.
Oh, all this bitterness in the face of sorrow has overtaken my soul. You girls, you make me feel ashamed of my sex.
Well then, there's really nothing left to talk about, is there?
Not for the moment.
I mean, that just about puts an end to every kind of confidence between us, doesn't it?
I've nothing to add.
Well, stop eyeing me in the mirror, Jenkins! I'm not some old bedroom set in a thrift store window.
Well, this is quite a development. I suppose from now on we're going to have to watch what we say.
Impossible.
If you'll forgive me, I'm feeling a little tired, so I'm going to close my eyes on the way into you.
Miriam's asleep and Andrea is keeping quiet for the ride back home. Miriam is happy, Andrea is weeping. Suddenly I feel alone. My pride, I have my foolish pride. But where has my love flown? Shouldn't a man leave you with something for the ride back home? How could a man leave you with nothing when you're on your own? Shouldn't a man leave you with something to regard as well? Why would a man hand you back nothing when you're by yourself?
Sometimes when I'm sleeping, I dream that somebody's there. It's only a lonely house creaking, a board that is loose on the stair.
Shouldn't a man bring to you something for the life you've known? How could a man deal you with nothing when the years have flown? Shouldn't a man offer you something you can't give yourself? How could a man quit you with nothing, leaving you to someone else?
My heart always tells me forgive him. You enter this world all alone. Our lives are entwined like a ribbon, which breaks when you're out on your own.
How could you know what a man wants? Why should you care how he feels? You're always lost in your own thoughts, while he's in the world making deals.
Shouldn't a man leave you off better than you were before? Why must a man flee like a debtor, slipping out a hallway door? Shouldn't a man leave you with something for the faith you've shown? How could a man leave you with nothing for the love that's wrong?
A man builds his life up from nothing, successes and failures and dreams, and someone keeps asking for something who doesn't know half what it means. You get from your life what you give it. The sooner you stand on your own, the better our world while you're in us leaves it alone. And that's why a man leaves you with nothing, nothing you can't earn yourself. And that's why a man flies from you one day, hoping you find someone else, praying you'll find someone else, pleading you'll find someone else, dying as he sees you fading from him. Nothing in this world can bring you to him. And that's how a man brings you to something, something that your heart can feel. And that's how a man who leaves you with nothing finds you with something real, something real, something real.
The first thing that I'd like to do when I get back to New York is to draw a nice warm bath. I feel I have gotten all this scent of this rotten marsh all over my...
Ragweed and mosquito.
Oh, very funny. I don't know why either of you are complaining. It's the first time you've been out in years.
That's not true. Why, every summer in the Hamptons we would be
Oh,
invited.
Andrea, you know you're no longer welcome at the Hamptons anymore. They can't accommodate you. Why, your train is longer than a Great Northern Dayliner.
Oh, Dottie, it's good you're back. I began to think we'd lost you. You were so quiet all the way back from New York.
What are we stopping for? What seems to be the problem this time, Jenkins?
Excuse me, sir. We've had a lot of reports of terrorism in the area tonight. And I must inspect the trunk of your car.
Certainly. Henceforth, madam, you may call me Ozzy. The gentleman here wants to inspect the trunk. It appears there's been some sort of threat to New York.
I'll thank you not to sound so familiar. Just show the fellow what he wants, and let's be on our way. It's almost time for dinner.
Yes, ma'am.
Really, Dottie, why such animosity? You might as well trust him. You know he's been with you for years.
I just don't like his attitude. That's all.
Well, it's hard not to notice his,
Oh. What's this?
Your mail, madam. I picked it up off the side table this morning as you were hurrying out.
Oh.
I thought you might want to read it.
Yes. My Bloomingdale's statement. I suppose it's in arrears again. More than half of these charges are undoubtedly Edward's. $12,000? The devil, I can't afford this. I suppose I should be grateful he's dead. These debts are going to haunt me forever.
Now, Dottie,
No, please.
you've made me want to cry.
What is it? What did I say?
Oh, well, it's the part about being grateful. Suddenly I feel so rotten. I know that I probably shouldn't, but with all his faults, I really am beginning to miss Paul Wendell terribly.
What are you saying?
there, do you see what I've been telling you? Do you see how ironic it all is?
With a $12,000 bill outstanding sitting in my hand, I certainly do not. They cheated us. They lied. They robbed us blind. How can you two sit there and be so despicable about our men?
No, Mrs. Van Horn.
Keep your eyes on the road, Jenkins. I'll thank you not to speak to me any further. We've all been taken blind by this team of ruthless, racketeering hooligans, and here you are sobbing over them as though you've lost your best friends. You two are bereft of all self-worth and respectability. Now, would you please regain your composure?
I can't. I miss him so.
What kind of of women are you? We were corporate wives to our husbands, the brains behind the collective success. When it came time for the merger, who brought that up?
You did.
And when it mattered most for us, the stocks to go public, who thought of that?
We did.
And when we chose Chapter 11 over Chapter 7, who advised them again?
I know it's true, but Dottie, you're wrong. You're so wrong.
They were no good, worthless cads. We encouraged them and stood beside them for all those years, and they left us without a bullion bar between us. And here you sit, crying about them, as though they were Mahatma Gandhi, Adlai Stevenson, Doug Hammarskjöld. Why, my Edward alone was the worst husband imaginable.
Well, not quite.
What?
You see, you don't know the truth about Edward and Wendell, and for that matter, Victor.
What?
Wendell was gay, Dottie.
Oh, yes. He was always so entertaining at parties.
No, you don't understand. Wendell was gay, and I was his beard.
Slow down here, Jenkins. This could take a moment. Miriam, haven't you ever heard of electrolysis?
Well, I suppose that I deserve that, but when you consider your late husband's loyalty, dear, I want you to remember that he was entirely devoted to you.
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you that Wendell tried to seduce Edward, and when he rebuked him, he hit on her husband instead.
What? What? That skinny low down piece of...
How did you know?
How did I know? Well, we were fine in the beginning, for the first few years, but as the years went by, I began to see the signs. I detected the signs that only a wife can detect. Wendell was gay.
Is that possible? He smoked those strong Cuban cigars. The same brand as Victor's.
Well, who do you think supplied them? Oh, shut up. I know Wendell was quite ingenious and definitely mad over Victor.
I'll kill him! I'll kill him! Even if I have to crawl into hell to do it, I will kill them both!
So you see, Dottie, after all these years of secrecy and neglect, Ozzy, sitting in the front there, doesn't look quite so shabby.
Thank you, madam.
Oh, Dottie, you're crying?
Oh, I can't believe it. I just can't believe how heartless I've been. After all the weeks I despised him, you're telling me that Edward loved me. Desperately, and there I was, tap dancing on his grave. Oh, if he had only told me what he'd been planning, I might have persuaded him not to do this.
It was all for you, madam, all for you.
Pass me your handkerchief, please, Jenkins. Oh. Oh. That still doesn't excuse his chicanery. He and the others, leaving us impoverished, bilking us out of practically everything we own.
Well, that's true of many men in general, Dottie. But there's nothing we could do. Good or bad, I'm afraid that's what we're stuck with them. None of them is perfect. And if I could get my hands onto Victor right now, he'd be singing in a different key. I promise you.
How will we live? How will we survive as women, as widows, as human beings? Where have we come from? Where are we bound? And what, on heaven's name, have we achieved? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It's all too perplexing. When a woman's close to 40, she must rearrange her day, which begins with preparations to keep telltale signs away.
When a woman
Perhaps you'd better open the rest of your mail, madam. It's getting late and the daylight's beginning to wane.
Yes, my mail. Oh, what's this? Prudential insurance. Oh, that Edward. Had he missed another payment?
What is it, Dottie?
Well, let me open it, dear. Oh! Oh my God. It's a paid benefit in the form of a check from the Corporate Executives Life Insurance Fund.
How much is it for?
$20 million!
Oh, look! There's a sale on at Lord and Taylor's.
Stop that car! Oh!